So, hello everyone. I'm Tetsuya Yaguchi from Waseda University, Tokyo, Japan, Department of Architecture. My specialty is urban design and planning, and I will talk about housing affordability in Japan. So, you're looking at my screen, right?
Yes, it's good.
So, affordable housing and history. So, first thing first, let's start with a brief history and the key policies for affordable housing in Japan. So affordable housing in Japan is supported by two main systems. So first is financial support for home buyers. In 1950s, the Housing Loan Corporation was established to help people buy homes with very low interest loans. So this system was especially important during Japanese rapid economic growth from 1960s to 1980s, helping middle-income families buy homes. Interestingly enough, Japan's home ownership rate has stayed steadily around 40% over 40 years. So photo in this slide shows a typical example of suburban neighborhood built during 1970s. We can see similar landscape anywhere in Japan. The second system is direct housing supply from public and semi-public agencies. The photo shows affordable housing built by UR. UR stands for Urban Renaissance Agency. Many housing complexes were constructed in the 1960s and 1970s, such as Tama New Town and the Hikarigaoka complex, to provide affordable homes for middle-income families. With declining population and aging population, many homes are now become vacant. So UR is focusing on reusing existing housing instead of building new ones. So we are entering new era. So they manage 746,000 units in Japan. That's a lot of housing supply already. And the other public, semi-public housing organizations are doing similar work rather than actively providing new housing stock. The photo shows an example of renovated housing complex by UR in Hino City. I believe that we will see more like this kind of project near future. So specifically in Tokyo, about 260,000 public housing units are run by Tokyo Metropolitan Government, the direct supply from a government agency. So the occupancy rate is always over 90%, showing that a very strong demand for public housing. Additionally, UR manage 160,000 units, and JKK, it's a semi-public agency, 住宅供給公社, manage about 65,000 units. So there's a lot of housing supply in Tokyo. So that's a condition of and the brief history of Japanese affordable housing. And next, I will talk about affordability in comparison to other part of the world. So data I took is OECD. So the data from OECD and the national statistics. So it's a broad overview, not city or metropolitan level analysis. So let's start with this chart. This chart shows housing cost, rent or mortgage as a percentage of disposable income. For renters in Japan, here, compared to the US, UK, and other OECD countries, more affordable, I would say. So 90.3% the share of disposable income for renters. So in comparison to other countries, it's relatively affordable condition. So also in Japan, the cost gap between renters and home buyer is smaller than in other countries. So Japan seems to offer more affordable, equitable living environment compared to many other countries. So So my question is that, is this accurate enough? So let's look at different chart. So this is a chart of housing cost or overburden rate among low-income owners. So when we look at low-income household, the situation changes. Except for the US, housing cost burden for low-income people in Japan are the highest. So this suggests low-income people face big challenges in housing. Japan needs more affordable and social housing. So that's a takeaway from here. The US has a different league that's much more challenging, but Japan also has a similar challenge. Here's another concern. Japan has a much less social rental housing in comparison to the US, UK, or EU, and the OECD countries. With the aging society, challenge is that how to create affordable living environment. So we cannot rely on public agency anymore because they have enough stock and they are not building new housing stock anymore. So what we should do. So the vision for affordable cities. So I have three proposals here. It's very similar to the first presentation from New York City. So vision for affordable city, number one. So first, we should think, rethink zoning. So traditional zoning, exclusionary zoning limits housing types through regulation, like land uses and the minimum lot sizes. So this results in higher home prices and the fewer housing options in some area, and it makes it really harder for low income and middle income family to find homes. So in contrast, so we want to shift to inclusionary zoning, a new zoning approach gaining popularity in the US, and encourage developers to build affordable housing by offering tax break or density bonuses. So there's a lot of benefit, but I should point out that there's some challenges to consider. So balances developers' costs with incentive to avoid slowing down construction and addressing concern from existing residents about higher density or changes in their neighborhoods. So if we overcome these challenges, there's opportunity to implement inclusionary zoning in Japan. So vision number two, so explore missing middle housing. Actually, Veronica already touched this topic already. So in the US, the terms missing medium density housing like duplex, hometowns, and small apartment. And these are more affordable to build and the rent more affordable to build and rent than high-rise apartment or single-family homes, because multi-density housing is typically more cost-effective to build and provide more options for middle-income families. And so these types of housing support diverse communities by accommodating people from different background, income levels, and lifestyles. So photo on the screen highlights striking contrast of Tokyo as of today, very tall, super tall, high-rise apartment condominium versus single-family homes, very low density. So there is a very striking contrast. So we need something in the middle. Lastly, we should consider new living arrangement like shared housing or group homes and the co-living space. So these options create more affordable housing while promoting social connection and vibrant community. So these are three proposals, what we can do in Tokyo as of today. And so this is a conclusion of my presentation. And thank you for your attention.